There's a bill in Congress right now that's got people fired up, the Save America Act. It would require proof of citizenship to register to vote and voter ID to cast a ballot. Some people are calling it common sense. Others are calling it voter suppression. Today I want to walk through what it actually says and think through it biblically, because I believe Scripture actually has something to say about integrity, truth, and how we build trustworthy systems. Here's what's actually in it. The Save America Act would require documentary proof of citizenship, a passport, birth certificate, or real ID showing citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. It also requires a photo ID at the polls. It's already passed the House multiple times, most recently in February. It's currently stalled in the Senate, so as of right now, nothing has changed yet, and no one is required to do anything differently today. That matters, because it means there's no rush or panic needed, just an honest conversation about whether this is a good idea. Here's something we're sitting with. We already require documentation for a lot of things we consider basic. To legally work in this country, you have to provide specific identity and work authorization documents. That's not controversial. It's just how the system works. And this isn't just an American idea. At least 176 countries around the world require some form of ID to vote, including nearly every country in Europe and neighbors like Canada and Mexico. Requiring proof of who you are to participate in something as important as a federal election isn't some radical new standard, it's closer to the global norm. The biggest pushback on this bill is that getting the required documents is too hard for some people. So let's actually look at that honestly. You can start a birth certificate request online in every state. It typically takes a few weeks and costs somewhere between $10 and $25. Not free, but not out of reach for the vast majority of Americans either. And since the bill hasn't even passed the Senate yet, anyone concerned about having the right documents has time right now to go get them well before anything would take effect. Is the process perfectly frictionless for every single person? No. And I want to be honest that a small number of people genuinely would face a harder road, particularly if they don't already have any photo ID at all. That's a real narrow problem worth solving well. But for the overwhelming majority of citizens, hard to get isn't an accurate description of the process. So where does the Bible fit into this? I think there are a few threads worth pulling on. Proverbs 11:1 says a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is His delight. God cares about the integrity of the systems we build, not just individual honesty, but whether the structures around us actually produce truthful outcomes. Exodus 23:1-2 warns against joining a crowd to do wrong or spreading a false report. There's a thread through Scripture that truth-telling isn't just personal, it's civic. It's about whether the community as a whole can trust what it's being told. And Romans 13 calls believers to respect and engage with governing structures, not as blind obedience, but as recognizing that well-ordered systems serve the common good. A system that can accurately confirm who is participating in it is, at its core, a system trying to tell the truth. I don't just want to talk about this, I want to actually help. So here's the real process, step by step. Requirements vary a little by state, so always double check your own state's vital records website, but here's the general path. If you have no ID at all and need a birth certificate, go to your birth state's Vital Records Office website, search Your State Vital Records Birth Certificate. If you don't have a photo ID, most states let you submit 2 or 3 alternative documents instead. Things like a social security card, a utility bill, or bank statement in your name, a work or school ID, or property records. If you genuinely have none of those, many states allow a close family member, a parent, spouse, or adult child to request it on your behalf with proof of the relationship. Some states also accept a notarized letter from a parent along with a copy of the parent's ID if the parent is listed on your birth certificate. As a last resort, some states allow a sworn affidavit, or for people born at home without hospital records, a delayed birth certificate, processed using school records, church records, or affidavits from family. Once you have your birth certificate, here's how to get a photo ID. Take your certified birth certificate to your local DMV. Bring proof of your current address, a utility bill, lease, or bank statement usually works. Bring your social security card if you have it. If not, most DMVs can still process your application, or you can request a replacement social security card first using your birth certificate. Apply for a state ID card or a driver's license. This typically costs between $10 and $40, and many states offer a low-cost or free ID option for exactly this situation. The bottom line, even in the hardest cases, there is a real path through this, and it usually starts with just one phone call to your state's vital records office. I want to be fair here, because Christians land in different places on this, and I don't think that makes either side dishonest. The concern critics raise isn't usually citizens shouldn't have to prove who they are. Most people across party lines actually agree with that. The concern is about the small number of people for whom this really would be a burden, and whether the country should pair a requirement like this with something like free universal ID access, the way many of the 176 countries I mentioned actually do. Scripture also has a strong thread of concern for people on margins. Deuteronomy 24:17 and Leviticus 19:34 say the call not to let systems, even well-intentioned ones, quietly leave vulnerable people behind. I think both convictions, integrity in our systems, and care for the vulnerable within them are biblical. The disagreement is really about how to hold both at once, and not about whether one side cares about truth and the other doesn't. But here's where I've landed. Personally, I think requiring proof of citizenship to vote in a citizens-only election is a reasonable common sense standard, one most of the world already treats as basic. I think if we're going to ask that of people, we owe it to the small number who'd struggle with it to make the process as accessible as possible, not just assume it away. Wherever you land on this one, I'd encourage you to look at the actual text of the bill yourself rather than just the headlines, and to bring your convictions about truth, integrity, and care for your neighbor into the conversation, because Scripture has something to say to both. If this was helpful, subscribe for more honest conversations where faith and current events meet. This has been Bible Talk. Grace and peace.